Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how I attach a mulching blade kit to a Ryobi 80-volt zero-turn riding mower, and also I will discuss adjusting the caster wheels for the deck blade. First, I went to HomeDepot.com and I ordered this mulching kit for the 54-inch zero-turn mower. These are the items come in the kit. You get the mulching plug, and two of these baffles that go in between the blade. Keep in mind this is for the 54-inch model. And you get 3 mulching blades as well. But I'm going to use my original blades in mine and save these for later. The stamped steel deck on this thing is really heavy duty. The discharge cover, it's also made of a heavy duty plastic that you probably can remove, but right now once you take it off it'd be hard to put it back on, but it'll save a lot of space if you were to remove it once you put the mulching plug in. The first instruction is telling us to remove the deflector shield, which is under here, this piece right here, by removing these 2 bolts. So you need a 13mm wrench to take these 2 bolts out. I'll do that now. So I'm loosening up these 2 bolts. Now lift up this flap and take that baffle out. Lift that up. Continue to remove these bolts. The instruction says to then set these bolts aside, but doesn't show anything about putting it back in. We may not need it anymore for this application. So I'm going to finish this up. As you can see, that baffle has been removed. So there's nothing there right now. See, this still has the twin blades installed. The next step would be for us to install this metal baffle here between the blades, and keep in mind that these blades, this open end needs to be pointed in a certain direction. The open end of this baffle needs to be pointed down like this. See the opening there? It's going to be pointed down. And I wondered how would I get that in there when it's too high. You can actually raise this deck up by hand like that, slide it in place. So that's what I'm going to do. Raise that up, slide it in place, and bolt it to these holes right there from the inside somehow. Actually, the bolts are going to go in this way because these are have nuts already welded on. So it's going to make it simple. Now we are to take the included bolts to install. Make sure you put, they refer to these as the lock washer, which is correct. They're calling these spring washers, which is incorrect. These are flat washers. Lock washers and spring washers are the same. So either way, you put the lock washer on the bolt first. The lock washer on the bolt first. And then what they're calling the spring washer. Like that. And that's how you're going to insert these into the deck. I'll show that in a second. So to get this started, all we got to do is push this bolt in the hole like this, then go underneath and line the holes up and start that in. Try to give you the best picture I can of underneath here. There's a little metal view. It's up against the wall. The baffle's in place, and it does not interfere with the blades. Lining up the holes isn't too difficult. Once you're able to place the baffle on that shelf right below there, it makes it easier for you to line up the screw. And you put one screw in, then you can line up the other side a little easier and begin to torque them down. The instructions don't say how much to torque these bolts down to. So I would say just torque them down snugly. You should be good to go. Just torque them down. Make sure that's snug. Just torque both of them down. And you do the same thing to the other side. Now again, on the other side, I place the baffle on the ground, and I'm able to raise this up enough to slide this under. Let's see if I can show you this on screen. Raise this side up. Slide the way you can get to it. And when you get up under there, you can make sure it's in place without hitting the blades before letting the weight back down. One thing I would say about that, make this easier for you. There's a lip here. You can put the frame of this brace on to slide it in place as you're trying to line up the bolts. All you gotta do is turn that blade to make sure it's out of your way. You're trying to put it up to line up the bolts. You put the bolts in and torque them down. And here's what it looks like with both baffles installed. There's the other one over there. They both clear the blades. Installed in the right way. One thing I failed to mention at the beginning was the instructions indicate that you're supposed to raise the blades up to the highest level possible. That way you were able to get up under there. I wondered how at first, but I realized you can actually push up on each end independently. Now to put on the mulching plug. The mulching plug is going to be fairly simple. Unlike others, they normally have a strap on this end and one on that end. But on this one, the only thing I have to do is put those in the grooves and then strap this in the back. You'll see where in a minute. And I think that's going to cover the area that the deflector blade, that the deflector came off earlier that we uninstalled. It should fit right over those holes right there that we took those bolts out of. Just gonna take the mulching plug after you lift up this. First we're gonna lift this up. Align the mulching plug to that front black bracket thing. Slide it on in place. This is sliding this top part into place too. When we got it lined up, I can slide it back. So we're gonna slide this back into place and attach it here. I'm about to do that with two hands. The easiest way to do it is to put that in the bracket completely and then work our way backwards. Lift that up, push back on it, it's lined up. It's almost like you had to stretch it into place. A better way of doing this is to put the top bracket in first. Line it up. And then line the other end up above where it's going in. Push down. That's a little effort. I push that in. Push it down on that end, it snaps right into place. All you gotta do is come back to the back here pull this to reach. And as you can see, that does cover those holes from the bolts we took out. Pull this down and around this point here. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but this is how it goes. There, got it pulled into place. So it's in there nice and snug. So we don't need that piece we took off here anymore. We just set it aside somewhere. There you have it. Mulching kit is in place. Now that the mulching kit is in place, now I got to solve a problem I have with cutting unevenly, or when I go around curves like what you see there, cut into the grass. When I cut my grass the first time, I ran into this problem. Well, going around the curve, and I cut little edges in like that. Couldn't figure out why that was the case. Come to find out, you're supposed to have the wheels adjusted to a 1/2 inch. See the little line there above the setting that you prefer to keep this from happening. So I'm gonna go in and show you how to adjust those wheels. These are the wheels we need to adjust. When they ship this, they set it at the highest point. That's what wound up happening when I'm scapping my lawn. So now we're gonna lower those down. But the first thing you have to do, I already got the preset thing to where I think I need it to be. So we let this down to that setting. Not to pinch your hand. There. So it's down to the setting. Now we're gonna take a measurement of these wheels from the ground. It's supposed to be 1/2 inch. And there's a little adapters in there I'll show you that adjust those to the right height that you need them. We'll get started now. I don't know if it's necessary to hold this out here. I got one of my biggest wrenches holding that bolt on. And that is a 15mm socket under there that we're gonna take loose. Let's give it a try. Taking that note of the washer. There's no washer on this nut. All I gotta do is pull this thing straight out. There's no other thing to be concerned with on this, other than now you see the adjustment holes. You can see it was set to the highest one. We're gonna take a measurement of 1/2 inch from the bottom to the ground to the wheel, and we'll find the right hole. So I just verified they want this to be sitting a 1/2 inch off the ground for the desired setting. But on mine, at the lowest point, which is point, what they call them, point C, this one sets it to 1 inch off the ground. So I'm going to go with that one to keep it from scalping my yard, even though it's not the recommended 1/2 inch that they're talking about. So put that back into place. Okay, mine made it. You probably can't see it now because I don't have it in a straight place, but 1 inch. But that's where I'm going to put it at. So all we got to do is put this nut back on the back side and tighten it down. And tighten it back down. That's what we do. And that's all you got to do for the rest of them. Here's a bonus for you. I need to address the towing plate that was installed on my lawnmower. Whoever at Home Depot that assembled my lawnmower, this tow bar was installed upside down. I could tell by the way these holes were sticking up. So I just took out one of the 13mm bolts. I'm gonna take the other one out. All I gotta do is just turn this thing right side up and put it in correctly. This is how the thing's supposed to look. And I'm gonna apologize, that's a 12mm bolt that goes underneath here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 of them. Turn the correct way now. There, I'm done with it. And for your information, I discovered something startling, that when I got to the front rollers, that adjustment for the back put it right on the ground. So what I would suggest to you is measure your distance in the front, and remember you have 3 rollers on the 52 inch, 54 inch. Measure those to the 1/2 inch, which will work, and then adjust the back one to match them. Therefore, you won't get any scalping because they'll all be the same. The wheels will prevent the blades from going any lower. We're good to go. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Turn the key. And over here we see it does the introduction screen. The problem I had with this, and I'm going to share it with you right quick, is that that thing told me my batteries were 100% charged. But when I turned it on, after I took it off the charger, it's showing 74%. And what's weird, when you go through the list, it shows the 80 volt batteries are fully charged, and we got 3 discharged 40 volt. The question is, how did they become discharged? I haven't used them, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'll let you know how that turns out. So let's take this thing for a ride to see how the new blades are working. Let's try the backyard first. Okay, on speed. Set to low. The blade speed is set to. Turn that to medium. And off we go. Ignite. Looks like it did a fine job in mulching those leaves. So I like it. I didn't see any signs of overcutting on the grass. So I go do the front. I'll let y'all see what it looked like before and after. I'm not gonna record the cutting. There, this is how the front yard began to look. The left side is where I already mulched. The right side is where I haven't got a chance to yet. So far it's done a pretty good job mulching the leaves. So I think it was well worth this attachment. I'll share a video later of me doing a better job at mulching so you can see more of what I've done. Thank you for watching.